Hello everybody, how are you doing? Today we're going to do the next room here on TryHackMe. It's privilege escalation. It's called weak file permissions. Now we are going through all of these different privilege escalations while I talk and reflect upon the different weaknesses that we talk about. Now this is not a particular try, hack and find thing. We're giving all the commands here. So basically the server's up and let's go ahead and verify that I'm connected to the SSH server. Sorry, yes, I'm connected to the OpenVPN server. Let's go ahead and SSH into the correct machine, 10.10.184.78, and let's see if it's up. It's the same thing every time. Whenever I start it, it takes a few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video and get back when it's up. So we do have a ping now from the machines, and let's go ahead and continue to connect to it. So we're going to SSH in. I think the key was hacker123, as we are informed in the top here. Just right there, yeah. So we're getting the SSH credentials, and the one I'm going to talk about today is called weak file permissions. Now, this is a topic that is very large, and this is just one example. So let's go ahead and see. Now we're going to type ls/la to see the permissions of the file called shadow. So let's just do that. So let's clear the screen, ls and etc shadow. What we see here is that the shadow file is readable and writable by root. It's readable and writable by others in the how is it? It is the oh, I can't remember the name. The group, sorry, and then others. So the owner, the group, and of course everyone else. I can read it. I'm not a member of the group called root or shadow. I mean, I'm not root. I'm not that owner, and I'm not a member of the user group called shadow. But I'm pretty sure that I can actually do cat etc shadow, and I can see everything in here. Now, this is a particular security problem because I can actually decrypt this hash right here and gain access to the root password. So let's go ahead and just see what they want me to do. They want me to cat it out, the password file. So let's go ahead and do that. So etc password, and once again we do see that, I know it's difficult to see, but it's right there. We can see that there are the root user here, and we do have everything in place. Basically everything is in place here, and we can start cracking stuff if we should do that. Now they want me to cat out shadow again and save the output to a file on the attacker machine. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all of this here and copy paste that. I'm going to open a new terminal window as they want me to do. I'm going to touch a file called shadow crack me. I'm gonna nano into the shadow file. I'm gonna paste what I just saw. Basically, that's what I'm gonna do. So let's go back to the tutorial. And what they want me to do now is use a command called onshadow password file, shadow file to the onshadow file. Oh, sorry, I need to do the same thing with the password file. So I need to do the same thing with the password file. So I'm gonna take all of this, copy paste that. Alright, and basically gonna touch password crack me. I'm gonna nano into that. Yes, paste it in, save it, exit, and let's clear the screen. So I'm gonna use a file called onshadow, and the way it's gonna work is that you give it a few arguments. The one is called the password file. So let's go ahead and give it the password file. Password crack me. I'm gonna give it the shadow file, and we're gonna pipe that out into unshadowed.txt. let's assume this is the name I want to use. I'm gonna press enter. Now that we have that, we can go into unshadowed, and everything is now unshadowed. Alright, so what we can do now basically is to run the hashcat up against it to brute force all the hashes. Now we're going to use the mode of 1800, and if you don't know what that is, let's go and say hashcat examples in Google. That is the quickest way I know, the first link. And you scroll down to, well, the hash mode here in the top to 1800, and you see that the one here is called, it's a shadow SHA-512 crypt with this $6, and you see this is how it usually looks like. It's usually used on Linux. So that is the mode, and basically let's just bring back the windows, not that window, and then the here. So basically we're going to do the hashcat mode 1800. We're going to use the unshadowed file, and we're going to brute force that using the RockU file, and we're going to output, I guess, -big O. I don't remember exactly what that is. Let's is it just to the screen or what is it? So let's do hashcat and -- help, and let's see. Yeah, you do also get the list here if you do the help mode. It's just too excessive, I guess, to scroll through. Optimized kernel, enabling kernel limits length password. Okay, so it's enabling optimized kernels basically. So, oops. Let's go ahead and just say we're gonna take this here. This is our way to crack it. And the location for RockU is not this on my machine. It is user share word list and RockU, and then basically gonna press enter and run it. So we're initializing some stuff here, and basically it's going to start in a few moments, and then it's gonna probably crack the root password pretty fast. So of course this is a standard room, so it doesn't really take a lot. So it tells us here that the password is password123. This is the hash in the top. And I guess that's basically it. Isn't it the tag show command this? Yeah, it is. So we can see that the password here below is also showed as password123. I don't think we got any files or anything we can look at. Could probably pipe the result out, but this is the way you're gonna crack the brute force the password in a shadow file if you can actually read it. So that is one of the bigger issues with file permissions. We're gonna answer the question, what were the file permissions on the shadow file? I'm not really sure what to answer here. What were the file permissions? Well, they were non-existent, you know. I could read. Is it readable? You want me to type? No. I'm honestly not sure what they want me to type. We know what the problem is. You know, we can read it. Let me just see if I can find some idea. All right, so I'm fairly confident that we're gonna. Let's try to. If they want me just to give the actual permissions, I like to copy paste this, and I think that is what that is yeah, try and error. You know, we already knew that. You know, it was just a part of the it is writable and readable, sorry, by anyone else. So other that is me. So I could read the file. That was a problem. So particularly this video, you know, weak file permissions is a big problem, and it's something you need to take care of, because if you can read files, basically you can get everything out, every secret. It doesn't really matter what file it is. So this particular exploit kind of wants to talk about the design privilege called least privilege. So you create a user with the least privilege, and you also need to think about when you're creating a system that you deny by default. So if you don't do that, you need to shut off a lot of doors, and that's just a lot of work, and you will miss something like this. And this is, I'm pretty sure the shadow file is not readable by default by anyone. Let me just try my own system for simplicity's sakes. So etc shadow. Yeah, you can see that in this particular case, only root and shadow, which is the same permissions, group and owner wise, but only the group of shadow or the owner root can write and read it, and the shadow can read it. But I cannot become that user of shadow. That's not possible for me to do that because I don't have the password. So that is, I cannot become a user that is in that group, you know. So, but then of course, if you can group exploit, and that is another thing, and you can put yourself in the group of shadow, then maybe you can read it then. So many things you need to take care of. Deny by default is one really good design principle I would suggest you look at, and also least privilege. And I guess most of it will just be very casual and normal from there. Anyways, thanks for this time. I'm gonna see you again. So take care.